Hi, here I am explaining for loop statement, which is nothing but repeating of some portion of programs either specified number of times or until a particular condition is being satisfied. The syntax of the first statement is as follows. It consists of initial statement where we will initialize the variable, and then we will check with the condition statement, and if the condition is true, it will execute the statements inside the for loop. Otherwise, it will not go inside the for loop statements. And then we have the increment or the decrement statements. Then after coming out of the for loop statement, it goes to the next statement in the program. These statements of the for loop can be empty or a single line or a compound C statements. This can be better explained with the flowchart. Here you can see the initial statements where we will initialize the variable, and then we will check with the condition. If this condition is true, it will execute the statements in the for loop. And after executing the statements in the for loop, then it will go to the updation of the variable, either increment or the decrement variable. Then once again it will go to the conditional statement and check the condition. If now the condition, once again if it is true, it will once again execute the statements in the for loop, and this process will be repeated until this condition becomes false, and when the condition becomes false, it will come out of the for loop. Here we can see a simple example which is printing the numbers 1 to 10. Here you can see the ncount variable which is initialized to 1, and the condition is the ncount variable should be less than or equal to 10. As 1 is less than or equal to 10, it will go inside the for loop where we have one statement and it is printing that ncount variable. Now after doing the statements inside the for loop, it once again increments the ncount variable. You can see this process will be continued and it will print the numbers from 1 to 10, which can be better explained in the flowchart, where the ncount variable initially it is 1 is less than or equal to 10, so it prints the ncount variable, and after that the ncount variable which is incremented, now it becomes 2. As 2 is less than or equal to 10, as the condition is checked once again after the updation, as it is 2 is less than, it will print the 2 value, and after that it will be incremented. So like this it will go on until the ncount value becomes 11, where 11 is not less than or equal to 10, so it will come out of the for loop statement. Now here you can see the ncount value or the variable is initialized beforehand. So here we have not having any initialization statement. We can do this if this variable is initialized beforehand, but you can see there is a semicolon there. So this should be there. Semicolon should be there. And once again here you can see there is no update statement, as this updation of the variable can be done inside the body of the for loop. Here you can see we are incrementing the ncount variable inside the for loop. So this updation statement can be omitted, but this semicolon should be there. So this is the process we have to see. Then you can see that the conditional expression can be any valid C expression, and this for loop will be executed until the conditional expression is true. And these conditional expressions, we can use any logical operators or the compound logical expressions, anything. Here in this example you can see we have used two conditions where the ncount should be less than or equal to 1000, and here the name array is there, and in that name array at that index ncount it should not be equal to 0. And if both the conditions are true, then it will print the array value at that ncount index. And here you can see we have no for loop statements. Just the count variable is initialized to 0 and the condition is this count should be less than 20,000. So here just the count value until it reaches the 20,000 or means greater or equal to 20,000. As there is the empty statements here, this for loop statement provides a delay of 20,000 milliseconds. Here are some other examples where you can see the iRow variable is initialized to 1 and this iRow should be less than or equal to 20. And as the 1 is less than or equal to 20, here we are adding the iRow value to the nsum which is already initialized to 0. So this will be repeated. This iRow value each time will be incremented and is added to the nsum value. So this for loop gives the sum of the first 20 natural numbers. Here you can see some other example where you can see the inum value is initialized to 2, nsum value to 0 and nsum 2 value to 0. So here we can see there can be any number of initialization statements. And here you can see that inum value should be less than or equal to 20. And the updation statement, we are incrementing the inum value by 2. So here you can see we can increment or decrement by any value, not only by 1. And in the for loop we have two statements. So here we have used the braces to as we have the compound statements inside the for loop. And if we are using only one line, there is no requirement of this braces. So this program prints the sum of the first 20 even natural numbers or the sum of the square for the first 20 even natural numbers, as we are incrementing the inum by 2. Here you can see simple example where there is no initialization statement, conditional statement or the updation statement, and it is a valid expression. But here you can see this for loop will be repeated infinite number times. Why? Because as there is no condition here, it will be true always and it will print this statement infinite number of times. In the same way, here you can see the condition is 1, which is always true, and so this statement is repeated infinite number of times. There are some simple examples the students can try it out. The first example is to find the factorial of a number using for loop. As we know, 5 factorial is nothing but 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. The second one, to print the square and the cube of the first 10 natural numbers using for loop. And the third one, to find the prime numbers of the first 20 natural numbers. So try it out. So this is all about the for loop statement. Thank you.